Hi. I don't think I'll be able to paint the one I'm going to do now in one session. That's a reasonable length of time. But if I have to go into two, then so be it. Easier to watch probably. I've got up to portrait format, and I'm going to try and do a hedgerow against the sunset with a source of light. I love Essex and Norfolk because it's flat, and always a challenge to make a flat landscape interesting. You have to find verticals. So I've prepared this piece of hardboard, and I've mixed in a little bit of the texture paste, the Liquitex modelling paste. It's a lovely stuff. It's like an acrylic gouache, not gouache, gesso. And I use a bit of PVA varnish, matte varnish, household varnish, to prime the board. It's got a nice mid-tone anyway, so you don't need to colour it, or if you can colour it if you wish. So we've got a sienna sky. Well, I better clean my palette. I'm using my usual palette of yellow ochre or raw sienna if you want. Lemon yellow, vermilion, which I seldom use. It goes too purpley when I mix it with the ultramarine. Light red, alizarin crimson, ultramarine, burnt sienna. But burnt sienna, the colour is very similar to the light red. Some burnt umber maybe, and black, a lot of black. There's my palette. This has been going for well over 2 weeks now, this one, I think. But it's the membrane's still going, and it's soaking up water from underneath, keeping the paints moist. And that alizarin crimson has been there for days and days and days. I haven't added to it. It's still fresh. So I'd highly recommend. You can make these sort of things out of chocolate boxes and trays with a bit of cling film, blotting paper, grease-proof paper or oven paper. Right, let's just start putting a bit of a sky. Now I think the burnt sienna is not going to be red enough for our purpose, but let's just go now. It's not need more ochre really. So we'll put a sunset sky out. I could go fairly low down with the horizon. I'd rather paint the sky, a nice sky than a wacky great landscape, which it might only be a few square inches of board, but it's a lot of acreage of landscape to try to make different. I'm going to superimpose some very dark winter trees against the sky. Just rough it in at the moment. So you can hear how rough this board is. It's lovely. So we'll have the light source is going to be very light colour, that really. So we'll blend around that. Big nice clouds coming up here. That's where my sky is kind of. I was going to say that. I was thinking in advance of myself. Let's just cover it up. There's a little bit of light red mixed in with that, but I don't want it overwhelmingly red. But I might even put a bit of yellow, a bit of lemon yellow in with the red, maybe. Not sure. Okay, well I'll just tint the paper. I want to superimpose some dark night clouds over, but against this, so I need a nice sky, light sky on the horizon to counter change the trees against. Almost, I suppose the landscape about there. But I want a towering sort of sky on this, so it's a bit of white now. That's drying off there now. Right, okay, different brush. I've run out of white on the palette, so I've got this big pot of white, squeeze it out. I buy that from Class Olson. It comes, hopefully I can still get it. Right, I'll put the lid on my little pot of the varnish and start to put in some clouds. Right, now black and white, maybe a little bit of blue. Might be a bit dark, but I'll be blending all this. And to make your clouds of silver, not of lead, I'm mixing in some of that background colour into the grey. They're probably a bit dark, but by the time I've gone over them a few times, what will take the time of this will be the trees that I'm going to put in, the hedgerow. Get those nice and light. This is just the base. Let's dry up there. Start softening this now. A nice light on the horizon. Right, the sunny area, or the going down of the sun, being here. Just working all the way around, building up an impasto. We want the nice sort of light around the edges of some of the clouds here, shining through. You can see why all this takes time, not like a watercolour which you can do in a few strokes. Now, got grey back. I want to try to show the light shining and highlighting the grey clouds, the sort of night clouds. So this mix is just a bit of yellow ochre and light red, a lot of white. Grey. Just some bits of light shining through the clouds. I won't do much more on here for the moment. I want to crack on with the landscape, but we do have these clouds that the lightest will be the middle of where the sun sort of going down, and that would be the greatest contrast in the sky. And then we're going to have some darker ones, and the ones furthest away from that light. I'll clean the brush. I want just a touch of red in this, but I want it to blend in there, so just a touch of the yellow. Soft. Probably put it right in the middle, didn't I? Oh, anyway. Okay, that's, this is where we've got the feathering of the light against the darker red or ochre red. Those blends. I call it feathering. And then we've got the lightest lights on the against that darker, the darker clouds. I'll let that go for a minute. I'm going to put a bit more light in these clouds here. So I get away from it, didn't I? But I'm just, there's the wispy clouds, it's catching a bit of light. I'll just get that light back in on the horizon. Because that's where we're going to put our trees. Although a lot of it's going to be covered up, but I want to just blend, soften. Right, let that go for a minute. Right, now we're going to put in some landscape and a hedgerow. So that's going to be predominantly burnt sienna. And black. I'll put trees, stunted trees coming out of there. Nice and straight. That's too big for, oh, I can live with that. I'll use this brush for the landscape rather than the trees, because it'll get that nice and light and feathery bit of ochre and red in there. This sort of a marsh. I'll just get it coming into there. More red. And I can put darker shadows between the sort of marsh grasses, reeds. Quite difficult to show, much as difficult to show doing this, but we're coming into the foreground, so we need more shadows and more detail. I'll put a lot more detail over this. Now I want the nice dark going in here. I might need to get this a bit thicker, black. a pair of pliers sometimes to unstick the paint stuck lid. Black is a wonderful colour. You don't have to use it. I'm mixing a bit of lemon yellow with it, just to show. I'm using the cheaper Chinese brushes, and it's just nice and thick. Probably use a bit of medium, bit of glue, bit of PVA glue, varnish, just to put in there. Let's kill the canvas. And you've got sort of areas where the grasses are in shadow. In case you're just building up really. Just keep going at it. There's dark against light. Oh, we can put this coming across there. But heavier in here, maybe. Try not to repeat on the left what you've done on the right, but it's hard not to, I know. But right, I want to find the brush now. I need to get some sienna. I can't get to my drawer. I wish I'd got some. That's about sienna. Oh dear, screw that. That's got a bit liquid. Don't know why. Oh, I've got that over my jeans. Let's just clear up my palette. Great thing is about this paint, it comes off the plastic stay wet palette. Right, so I'm going to put a greyish black and sienna, bit of light. This is where the hedgerow is. There won't be a lot of green in this. There will be bits of green. But to show the light catching these ferns bulrushes, you need to do a lot of dark against the sky there, so you can counter change. There's a painter called Meg Stevens that paints or specialises in these sort of views. And you can make these up quite simply. Now I'm going to put in some trees. Now I've got a brush here that is quite rough, but I can't. There it is, a worn out brush. I'll show, because we're painting against the light, I'll just show I'll put some detail in this. This is just showing the outlines of the bare trees against the light of the sky. That's why I painted that nice and light there in black. black and sienna, burnt sienna that is. Oh, we'll have another one here. I'll put in some trunks and things. It's going to be a bit dark there. I might repaint that. Just sort of tapering off. It's going over the bill. There we are. And with a fine, these riggers are the finest brushes that I've got, but I've got one with just a few hairs in, but I don't suppose I would be able to pick enough hair up with that one. What's this one? A lot of water. Try to keep the paint out of the ferrule end of the bristles if you can, rather than let it dry there. That's nice. A lot of this. This is where it takes the time. If I do this in 2 bits, I really want to show more or less what I'm going to do if I do part 2, which I will be doing. I don't think I can. There's just too much calligraphy in this to. You see, you get the idea. A lot of work's got to be done in the sky, but you get some of these trees with so many branches and twigs. They might have been pollarded at some stage. Pollarded, that's not what I meant. Coppiced. And end up with loads of branches from the stem or the bole of the tree. I put loads in the canopy here. So I don't know if I can paint very finely to do this. Alright, well, we'll let that go from there. Let's do some more across the horizon. Okay, well, we've got lots of twigs and branches. Okay, well, let's work a bit on the foreground. Keep your brushes moist or clean. I leave in the water till I need them by loosening the paint out of them. Don't ruin brushes, because even though they're cheap, they do lovely things. So we've got sort of a greyish, warm. You see, that's why I did it, because that now shows up. Against the dark. I'm not one for detail, as you know. I try to find ways to do things that avoid lots of individual strokes. It's not my way of doing things. But we've got all these marsh grasses. Norfolk could be a reed for thatch. Let's check over that. More red. yellow. Just dragging gently over the dark areas. Look, just using the back of the brush, which to a certain extent has split into separate, well, clumps of separate bristles. Just keep working on it. I'll put some greens in as well, but I want some nice light in there, look. I hope this makes you want to do it. Get all excited. There we are. Some nice, really good lights there. Some highlights. Because this dries very quickly, you can drag over with oil. It's quite more difficult, because you're just slurring the paint all the time. Unless you use fast drying oils, which are lovely, like the Griffin range of Winsor & Newton, or use alkyd resin linseed oil. That's a good idea. I used to do a lot of that. Right, let's I'll use one of my big brushes. Brushes I don't use are fan brushes. I know people swear by them, but I have used them. I want some light now, some yellowy. What was that? So I've got the surface building up now. Right, put some greens in now. Black and yellow. To show that there is some yellow grass, some green for grass, like just, this is a winter scene or an early spring. And you can just keep working away. That's it. Get some more lights in. Mixing the sky colour. Breaking up the outlines or the harder areas. Bit of warmer colour. That's the red will help the greens to sing, I hope. More detail in here, longer strokes for the grasses. let's go back and do a little bit of sky now. Do some cloud modelling. I'm mixing the black with the sienna, burnt sienna, and some white. It's a case of warming it up with the sienna. Now that's where you want your darks. This is all gently suggested. Now get some nice light in there. Soft, soft, soft. Bringing light back in these clouds. Let's just put something behind there. A bit hard there, but I'll soften that. Just dragging over now. Well, I think at the moment what I'll do is, bear with me, I'm going to take the painting, one of the ones, the earlier demos, out of the frame and put this in the frame and have a look at it, see where it's going. My fingers are cramping up now. I did some paid carpet work, which is my day job, but I don't do much of it now. I've done it for over 40 years and I'm getting a bit slow at my age. Right, I'll put that aside and put this. But it's nice to be able to go out and do it. Oh, my fingers are just, I've probably done as much as I can do. Okay. Okay, done it. Right, this is where we are now. So you can see we're coming on now. We've got something going on there now. I reckon that's about as far as I'm going to go today. My hands, as soon as I bend them now, my fingers are cramping into my, oh look, cramping into my hands. But tomorrow morning we'll be okay. I hope you enjoyed that so far. I'll zoom in and we'll call this part 2. I hope to do part 2 tomorrow. We're going to spend the weekend with friends. Well, there we are. I love this sort of view. Keep it all nice and soft. Let's zoom out. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.